Alrighty, welcome to Nycos RPG. I am Jonathan Albin, your host, and today is a fantastic day. I'm way more wound up than I was yesterday, and apologize for taking a one-day break. But my Friday was my fun day was not as fun as it should have been, and so welcome to Newsday. So much going on. All right. So, in the world of Nycos, we are on our way to the final version of the master book. We have got a. I know I'm surprised to say this, but I have a graphics team. I have two graphics artists and a actual fantasy artist, who are working on the pieces of to pretty up the master book. So that does bring me to the point that I need to mention, and that is that I will be doing a pre-launch version of Nycos in order to keep the theme of the master book along the same as our first two properties. In that, we are going to do a pre-release master book that has no art other than the cover, and I've got people who are giving different opinions, but I've determined that it's going to be the best thing to go ahead and get those done. So if you are interested in pre-orders of the Nycos Master Book, you need to contact me directly, either through PM, DM, or an email. And my email address is gamemarketguru@gmail.com. I will put it on the screen in post-production for the YouTube page. But we are going to be making a very limited run of those. But with the as we did with the Dark Shards and then the enhanced edition of Dark Shards, we're going to be making it available. It'll be just absolutely packed with information, but it will have, as an example, the CIS, the community information sheet that we put up, the community identity sheet, and therefore you'll be able to use that to pre-generate your adventures on the fly or in advance. It'll also include the template for the tabletoppers, the table tents that we use, so that you can print those out on cardstock or whatever. And it'll also include all of the rules for the all general roleplay. So it will have a little bit of everything for everybody. It will have just an example of how a magic system works, and it'll only have an example of how the combat works and so on. So therefore it'll be a full function, absolutely useful utilitarian property, but it won't have any images. It'll just be text. And I think that this is going to be the right way to go in terms of the property being unironically, I should say, unironically, a theater of the mind property. So, having said that, the next thing we need to talk about as far as Nycos Newsday in terms of the release materials is that we are also coming up on the final version, complete version of the Dark Shards systems guide. And when we do that, the system book for Dark Shards will cover all of the magic systems. The only thing it won't cover will be the psychic and paranormal aspect. And I've gone back and forth on this. It will be the psychic engine for Nycos RPG for dealing with paranormal is going to be essentially a similar mechanic to the magic system, but it's built specifically to work in a Illuminus-free environment. If there are no production of magicals by the solar body, then you'll be operating with the deep science version of magic. And so there have been conversations going back and forth. There is a magic system for psychic phenomenon that was in development some time ago, and so we're currently using that in the Nycos RPG sessions that we're playing. So if you want to play around with psychic power in magical events, we have at least a couple of groups that are utilizing those characteristics. But it's originally intended to be a separate thing. Anyway, now I'm rambling. I don't want to do that. All right, so let's look at what we've done. Also, we're not going to go into the individual sessions. That will be our Newsday, Nycos Newsday full report at 11 tonight. But I do want to mention the fact that we have a special event coming on, and if you are a supporter of Board Games Paradise, who has historically been one of our sponsors, that's why their logo is right there in the corner. Board Game Paradise is having their anniversary. I think this is, I don't know, 10th? I don't know the exact number of their anniversary. I should, but we're going to be running a very special event there. It is Heptopoly. That's the all-new, revised version of the event that I ran at conventions in the past. That is fundamentally, if you've played Monopoly and been absolutely sickeningly bored with it, this is a new envisioning of Monopoly. It utilizes a board with dice and moving your mice, roll your dice, move your mice, but it is in particular an all new perception of how a game of Monopoly would play out. I don't want to give away any details of it. Just know that it will accommodate, hold it, up to 24 players. There you go. Large number of bodies on a very small board. Itty bitty living space, right? So we will be doing that on Saturday, the 5th. So let's see, it won't be this Saturday, but next, right? Let me double check here. Yeah, it won't be this Saturday, but the following Saturday, so the 5th of October. So put that on your calendar, folks. You'll definitely want to be there. If you are a supporter of Board Game Paradise, do cajole Rich, the store owner, to sponsor this channel, because I want to do some really good work for them, and we want to include all of you that play other types of games, because Nycos and the Imagination Launchpad concepts that we're developing are expressly intended to increase the number of people playing board games and card games and miniatures games and all of that. So please put a bug in the ear of the owner at Board Game Paradise when you get a chance. Alrighty, so let's get into the new stuff. This is really the meat of today's program. We've had a couple of epiphanies this week that they haven't altered Nycos anyway, but they have continued to expand the concept of Nycos RPG considerably, and that is an interesting dynamic. All right, so first thing that we've revised and devised is as you may recall, we did the Making of Monsters episode last week, and one of the things about creating the issue with the coming up with how we define a monster was an eye-opener for me to realize that what we're really talking about is the ferocity and the intent of the creature to deal damage, and thereby we can now clearly define, and the players can define in the moment of the engagement, whether or not the creature they're facing can be reasoned with at all, because if it's something truly monstrous, it has only destruction on its mind. It may be a manipulator, it may have certain skills that allow it to be persuasive or whatever. But generally speaking, when it comes to its capabilities, the monstrous always are destructive. So that'll be a quite easy way to identify the wow. There we go. The way a monster reacts will give a clear identity, so that there will be no confusion about whether or not monsters are redeemable or not. It doesn't mean that they're constantly going to be hunted out of existence, because the players now have that option. It's not they're not obligated to kill it, and neither are they required by rules to kill it, so to speak. But they have the option. Pardon me for a second. Alrighty, so that was the first thing. That revelation has made it much more understandable. Pardon my eye rubbing here. I'm so professional. I know, novice, rookie. Yeah, see, coughing on air. Those are all horrible things, especially if you're listening on a podcast. I apologize for that. So the second exciting thing that happened this week is the culmination of some internal work that I've been going through to come up with the mechanisms for dealing with various forms of poisons, toxins, and their ramifications on the game. How do we demonstrate those things that are quite possibly lethal in a game that's not intended to have a focus on lethality, and therefore the concepts of how poisons, toxins, and venom work was kind of an epiphany as well. We'll go probably into more detail on that on a separate episode when we talk about venoms, toxins, and poisons. But just the streamlining of that process and the ability to define it in terms that make game sense, as well as internally cultural sense, was kind of an awareness expander for me. Let's see. I think that's about all I really had to discuss this morning, but just realized that the world of Nycos is... no. We were also talking about other expansions and the ideas that we have built the boundary for what new world elements we might be adding in the future, what new genres, and we've added 3 new ones to Roleplay Roulette this week to experiment with. So, and that's also relatively new. I did mention it before, but we now have a Roleplay Roulette session. If you've never roleplayed before, and you don't even know what roleplay is about, a great way to learn is Saturdays at 2 p.m. Pacific time at Board Games Paradise. We are now running Roleplay Roulette, and it's just as exciting as it sounds. Yes, you're going to be spinning a wheel and choosing a genre, and we will play through the scenes of a story in that genre that I will build on the spot. So I will be building as quickly and as frantically as the players will be building their personas. But the twist will be that the genres are so varied that we literally don't know what kind of a story we're going to tell. So that's interesting. And as I said, we added 2 new topics to the wheel. So we're at, I believe, now 22 different ones, and it's going to be a blast. And that's not this. This Saturday. This Saturday is Roleplay Roulette. The following week, Roleplay Roulette will be replaced with Heptopoly. So both those are exciting, and the birthday event at Board Game Paradise is going to be wild. They've got a lot of different things planned, and so you'll definitely want to check that out. So if you like what you see on this show, make sure you follow us so you keep updated on what's going on, not only with Nycos, but with Board Game Paradise as well. And put a bug in the air of Rich at Board Game Paradise so that we get sponsorship for this next year. And other than that, let's reconvene at 11 p.m. tonight. There's so much information I'm looking forward to sharing. And on Nycos Newsday, the nightly news. Oh, it's going to be so much fun. So join with us then. Until then, if you have any questions, make sure you leave them with us in the comments section here or at Nycos RPG on YouTube. We have gotten our formal recognition from YouTube that we are over 700 videos, so that was quite a milestone, and we would love to have you become a subscriber there. Go ahead and like and subscribe there. It really helps the channel to maintain itself. And if you really want to support Nycos and get access, the exclusive access to the pre-released version of the master book, reach out at patreon.com. Our Patreon supporters that are supporting at the $20 value or higher will be getting in a complimentary copy of the master book pre-release edition, which will be the first printed version of the final version before we start laying in the art of the board game of the Nycos RPG Master Book. It's going to be the toolkit that you've been looking for creating stories in your own realm and to expand the creativity and innovation that you bring to your role-play gaming group. So check that out. Join us. If you do, you get access, remember, to the Saturday and Sunday Patreon-only games. So that's a really important aspect to follow. And other than that, I'm going to be getting out of here. I know it's only a 20-minute show, but that's been pretty typical of our morning episodes. I will be endeavoring, of course, to do a lot better job in the future, but that's always the case. And even saying so itself is so professional. This is the way it's done, right? Alrighty, I will talk to you guys all in the next episode tonight at 11 p.m. Nycos Nightly News. Don't miss it. So much to chew on for this week. Talk to you soon.